Masters of innovation.
Looking towards the future with anticipation, raising up the technological conversation from the east to the west and all across the nation. If knowledge is the cure, then we got the medication. We're the masters of innovation, the masters of innovation. We're the masters of innovation, the masters of innovation.
Welcome everybody to the Masters of Innovation. As always, we're here with the cutting edge knowledge you need. I'm Garrett Wagner, entrepreneurial CPA, the man who keeps us grounded in reality, balanced out with my co-host, the true master of innovation, the man that knows no limits, Joe Brunsman of COP Brokers. Now today, Joe, first before we start off, I see you're rocking a new microphone. How's that feel?
Feels good. I feel truly professional.
Truly professional. So is this a nod to your first major publication? Isn't it called True Professional?
Oh, no, that was a True Course.
True Course.
Which is right there. Wow. That was pretty good, huh? Practice insurance for CPA firms.
Very nice.
Available online.
How many hours did you practice that little point?
This point right here?
Yeah, was that like 6 hours of your day?
5.5. I've become proficient.
All right, Joe, now that you're proficient, we've talked about this before. Let's dive deeper into the unfolding story of the EY, Ernst & Young, Wirecard fraud scandal, whatever you call it. Because we talk about it. It's truly interesting. It's truly fascinating. And really the reason why we're talking about it is everyone out there, you know, we hear about the really truly big ones, the WorldCom, the Enrons, the Wirecard. But for each major gigantic fraud, there's hundreds of little ones that happen at firms throughout the country every year. And we can learn from these big ones what went wrong so we don't become part of the story. In our client, in a small, you know, maybe you're a 50-person CPA firm and one of your clients that you audit has a fraud and you get kind of pulled into this community story and it tarnishes your firm's reputation. Maybe the firm goes out of business. So how can we learn from this amazing story that is Wirecard and do some practical applications back in our practice? So that kind of teaser, Joe, what do we now know that's unfolding more that's even more interesting of this whole Wirecard fiasco?
So this is turning into like a James Bond novel quite quickly. So yeah, I think that the publication really kind of leading the charge against, I would say, Wirecard over the years has actually been Financial Times, so FT.com. And they just have a number of super fascinating stories about, you know, things that over time, I guess it's very easy now to look back. Same thing we do with, you know, Enron. And we go, how did nobody see this? But you start looking back and you see kind of all of the dots lining up where it looks like something bad is happening. And there's just really some crazy stories here. So the Wirecard executive, so the COO, who's currently, at least as of filming, an international fugitive apparently, hinted at Secret Service links. So he talked about how he had links to various intelligence agencies around the country. Apparently Russian government operations. I believe there was another Financial Times article where someone had said that he was friends with some former Russian intelligence officer and they were planning on setting up some paramilitary private army on the border with Libya to try and do this, that, or the other. I mean, it's really, really bizarre. On top of just the fact that this whole organization just imploded.
So those are the kind of things, I mean, to the most basic, to pull back to the practical world like I always do, just that we talk about all the time in the audits, professional skepticism. Yeah, if you're doing the audit, even for a small local company, and there's things maybe in the local newspaper or online, pay attention to that. Like, frame it out, think about that. Yeah, if I'm doing an audit, and there's an article in the Financial Times or some other publication, how the COO has ties to the Russian secret services and all these nefarious things he's doing, that should cast some additional flags and red flags and issues when I go do that audit. Like I can't just assume it's all made up, and you got to watch for those red flags. So that's Joe. That's truly fascinating. It is like a James Bond novel. Like, who would think, hey, we're doing an audit of a payment processing company, and it's gonna be this like James Bond spy thriller unfolding. Russian spies, the Russian Secret Service, like Libya, paramilitary armies. Fascinating.
And apparently all the way back in 2008, so let's say 12 years ago, the head of a German shareholder, this is according to the Financial Times, so we don't get sued for libel or slander here, but according to the Financial Times, the head of a German shareholder association published an attack on Wirecard, suggesting balance sheet irregularities. So EY was actually appointed to conduct a special audit, and the following year replaced a small Munich firm that had previously acted as a group auditor, which, that strikes somewhat similar to me, like back to the Bernie Madoff scandal, where he just, an organization that was supposedly that large, that just had like two guys in a strip mall somewhere that that was their accounting firm. It strikes me as odd. And, the fact that, this company allegedly started really just as a payment processor for online gambling. And I will say websites showing adult pictures and videos. Yeah, it kind of tells you, okay, maybe this company didn't really start off and, completely in the white there. Like maybe they were kind of working in this kind of shadowy area to begin with. And oh, by the way, I guess now former CEO, Marcus Braun, former KPMG consultant. So the plot thickens.
Plot thickens. Well, Joe, that's also important to talk about there is no matter what size CPA firm we are, and I've seen this so many times throughout my life, you think, oh, one of our larger clients, if something goes wrong, like I've got a great relationship with them, like they're not going to throw me under the bus. But after story after story after story, you see it time and time again. When thing goes wrong, one of the first things they always do is throw that CPA firm under the bus. Whether it's something wild and crazy, like to say like, oh, we've been filing fraudulent tax returns. Well, my CPA didn't tell me that I had to provide all of my documents. Like my CPA didn't tell me that like I couldn't make things up. Like, I'm a celebrity that overstated my net worth and filed fraudulent tax returns. Well, my CPA didn't tell me that I couldn't do that. Like it's always now so quickly like our fault. And that's the thing we got to watch out for. No matter where the client is, don't get caught up in the big client and the fee, things like that. Stay professional. Watch out for what's going on, because that client's going to throw you under the bus the minute they need to.
Oh, I 100% agree with you. And me on the insurance side, I've seen that, gosh, I don't know how many times, where who's the easiest person to blame? It's the accounting firm. And not only are you guys the easiest ones to blame because, they're going to say, oh, well, my auditor never said I couldn't do that, or my CPA never said I couldn't deduct these expenses. You're also the ones with the deep pockets. So they're going to say, well, not only did you not tell me, say ostensibly not to be a criminal, but I know you have an insurance policy and you have deep pockets and you're rich because you're all accountants. And so now I'm going to sue you. And we've seen that a number of times. So you're right. It's always in everyone's best interest. Yes, maybe you can be friendly, right, with these long time audits, but that doesn't mean you should be their friend. It's like you always have to maintain that professional skepticism and really kind of that professional distance between what your job is and maybe what that personal relationship is as well.
Well said. So that's a little bit deeper. It's part 2 now of the EY Wirecard fraud. Fascinating to watch it unfold. We're continuing to update as things go, probably quote some more articles from the Financial Times. So stay tuned. We'll learn about this, interesting unfolding fraud situation happening around the world every day. So stay tuned for future episodes. Don't forget, you can click to subscribe. You'll get updated before they come out. And as always, we challenge you today to take action to change the world and invest in yourself.